Hi, welcome to this episode of Your Black World News. I'm your host, Roosevelt Mitchell III. Today I'm joined by Mr. Anthony Kent, the youth advisor. And we are discussing, last week a new pair of Jordans came out, tennis shoes, and they were $650 a piece. And people camped out for days in order to be the first one to have these shoes. So how's it going today, Anthony?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking this time. So I want to ask you, all of these parents, or all of these people rather, who spent $650 on a pair of tennis shoes, is that a bad investment?
It depends. It's all relative. So my thing is, it's a bad investment depending on your financial situation. So, and what I'm going to say is no knock on, Michael Jordan. I'm definitely proud for Michael Jordan. I grew up watching Michael, and he was one of my biggest role models. And it's definitely a blessing to be in a position to even be able to charge that much money for a product and have someone to even want to buy it. So, congratulations to Michael Jordan, all he's done for the community. But what bothers me or troubles me about parents or even kids that are buying those $650 Jordans is the simple fact that a lot of them aren't in the financial position to purchase those shoes. And the reason why I'll say this is because when I grew up in high school and middle school, some of the poor students in our school would have some of the nicest things. Most of the poorest students would have Jordans, would have every single pair of Jordans that came out. And what bothers me the most is that we have a lot of cities and states that don't put education first, right, as well as parents. So I ran a calculation real quick, right, and I said, well, if you take $650 and you multiply that times 1,000 parents, that's $650,000, right? So what if parents were more so involved in improving the education of our students? They could invest $650,000 into our educational system. We have a lot of schools that are torn down, don't have the technology, and that could easily be resolved. It's all about where parents and school systems are want to put their money. Like, for example, if you go into any major city, you see these massive football arenas, right? And those football arenas might cost $220 million, right? Well, if we can find $220 million to put into sports, why can't we invest $220 million into education? And that's what bothered me the most when I saw, people camping out and, the waiting on to get a pair of Jordans, but I don't see people camping out to improve the education of our kids.
And why do you think that is so? Do you think it's the market capability of the Jordan brand, as opposed to the public education brand?
I don't think it has anything to do with the education. It's more so the Jordan brand. And what I'm saying is the Jordan brand is awesome. But it's really not about the Jordan brand. It's about the way our culture is and the way our children are being conditioned. It's about the media, right? So, and remember I told you how, like, when I grew up, and some of the poorest students that I grew up with, they had some of the nicest things. They were the ones that had Jordans, right? If you ever take a walk in your city somewhere, right, you'll see kids or some adults riding bikes, or you might kind of think that they might not be in the best financial situation, but guess what they'll have on their feet? A $200 pair of Jordans, right? So my thing is, so let's say if you're an adult, right, and you want to have a car to get to work, but you don't have a car, right? I would think that you should, instead of investing $250 or $200 in a pair of Jordans, you would be saving that money to make sure you got yourself a vehicle to get back and forth to work. So my issue is with spending money on shoes is that what else could you be doing with that money to improve your life? Could you be saving that money to pay bills? Could you be saving that money to further your education? That's my issue with that when we're not putting that money in the right place. So, if you're well off and you can afford to buy Jordans, that's all fine. But for the people who aren't in that financial position, you need to be making better financial decisions with your money.
Okay, it sounds like what you're explaining is a theory that's used in economics called the opportunity cost, right? Meaning if you have $650, if you spend it on the pair of Jordans, then you forego the chance to spend it on something else, saving it, starting your own business, or light bill, gas bill, or etc. Right? Would you feel any better if Michael Jordan, with that same $650,000, like, okay, apparently he got more than 1,000 people to spend $650. So, okay, with that money that he makes off the shoes, would you feel any better if he were investing a lot more into education?
So I don't want to put the responsibility on Michael Jordan, so I'm going to say no. That's his money. He can choose to put that money back in the community, and Michael Jordan does put the money back into the community. He really does. The sad thing is, some of the things he does, people tend to only focus on the negative side of things. So I don't think it's Michael Jordan's responsibility to educate our children. You know, of course he gives back, but it's more so on the actual parents. And the reason why I think that students and parents are spending this money on these shoes is because it's all about image. People want to put on a facade that they're living this certain or particular lifestyle, in which they really don't. So my thing is, let's say you have your light bill due, right? Or you need to pay your cell phone bill, your car bill. You have thousands upon thousands of fans of Jordans or their shoes that instead of going and pay their light bill, they're gonna go buy them Jordans. Which is crazy that someone would actually do that. They're more concerned about the shoes they have on their feet or how they're looking towards their friends more so than being physically responsible with their spending. Right. That's my issue. And from the branding perspective, we in the media are seeing so many commercials that people our young adults believe that they must have this product. There are children out there that believe that they have to have every single pair of Jordans that come out or it's the end of the world. If people did not think that, people would not be getting killed over Jordans. As a matter of fact, there was a story, I don't know, I think it was sometime last year, there was a young man in Chicago that they said looked like Chief Keef that robbed Michael Jordan during a shoe release. He was sitting on the desk and he pulled out a gun on him.
Wow. So let me ask you this. What about the person who bills are paid and they saved up for 2, 3, 6 months in order to save the $650 up in order to get these new shoes, and all their bills are paid, but they saved up to $650. To that person, do you think it's a good investment or a bad investment?
Well, it's a couple things. There's some people that buy Jordans from a business perspective. So pretty much they're saying, hey, well, this is going to be like a limited edition of these Jordans, right? So what I can do is I can go buy 3 or 10 pairs, right? I can go buy them at their retail price and then turn around and sell them like on eBay or a site and make double what I paid for them. So from that perspective, it's a good business decision, right? Also, like you said, if you can afford to, then, it's fine. Spend your money on what you want to if you can afford it. But if there's also better things to do with your money, you should do better things with it. Like, for example, I could afford a $650 pair of Jordans, but that's not something I think is a sound financial decision. So instead of me spending $650 on a pair of Jordans, I'm going to say, hey, Anthony, could you put that money to marketing your business? Could you put that money to starting up a business? Could you put that money to getting a certification? Most certifications in this world aren't going to cost you over $650. There's thousands. Well, there's thousands of certifications that you can go get for under $650. So my thing is, I think people should focus spending money on making more money. That's what makes sense to me.
Right. Well, I thank you so much for your insight, Anthony. And can you please, I'd like to give you the last word, and can you please let everyone know how to contact you?
So if you want to get in contact with me, you can visit www.theyouthadvisor.com, and you can buy my book there. Also, you can find my book on Amazon.com as well as Barnes & Noble's. The ebook is on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble's as well. So my phone number is on there. Feel free to email me if you need any advice. I'm definitely open.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this segment of Your Black World News. And until next time, my friends, be blessed and be encouraged.